Good morning, my dear students, and welcome back to the English online classes. I hope you have gone through the previous video in which I have already started the third chapter from your very book Hornbill, Discovering Tut, the Saga Continues by A.R. Williams. In that, I have introduced the chapter, I have told you what the chapter consists of. Basically, the chapter is about a teenager, not a teenager alone, but also a pharaoh, a king. He was considered to be the last heir of the powerful family of the Egyptian dynasty, but he died in a very young age. And then in 1922, his tomb means where his body was buried, that was discovered, was found out, and then a lot of new rumors got attached to his this discovery of his tomb. People started talking about his death, about his life, especially his death, that they all suspected it to be a murder. To clarify, to verify, to find out the truth, again, somewhat around 80 years after the first discovery in 1922, the tomb, or otherwise the mummy of King Tut, was again taken out to undergo a CT scan so that all the various aspects which were related to his life and death could be found out precisely. And this was what the story is all this is what the story is all about. So I began the story, and I have explained to you the first three paragraphs. In the first paragraph, we have seen a kind of a mysterious atmosphere has been created. It has been said, see, when I talk about Egypt, I'm talking about the pyramids, I'm talking about the tombs, the place where the bodies are buried, and you all know about mummies. You do watch movies, I hope so, and I have already told you about the movies like Mummy Returns, The Mummy, etc. And it is a basic ritual of covering them with bandages, covering with a kind of a ritual racing, preserving the body and all. So that place is basically being called as the Valley of the Kings, from where King Tut's body was recovered. And then while it was going on, this was 5 January 2005, somewhat 80 plus years after his body was actually discovered in 1922. And while this was done, the entire atmosphere was like very ghostly type, very mysterious, dark sky, wind blowing very strongly, dusty it is because it's a sand area, so very dusty. And then suddenly it looked like as if everything is being covered with darkness. And then for the first time in the history, the mummy, the first mummy, which went under the CT scan machine, glided, it went inside the CT scan machine, so that the people, they can come to know about what happened to this boy, this teenager, this young ruler who died somewhat 3300 years ago. Then in the second paragraph, it is given that how the tomb looked like. First of all, the tomb was some 26 feet underground. Then it was carved out of rock. Next thing, murals were there, means pictures were drawn. And then it has been said that the most appealing or attractive fact was the coffin. The coffin was like that, or the shape of a human body, and it was all gold, full gold. And Tut's golden face was there on the top of that coffin lid. And some visitors, they were reading the books, some were standing there and thinking about how he might have died, and some were really frightened because it is basically I can't say a myth, but it is a kind of a rumor, or yes, we can say a myth only. You can say it's a kind of a rumor that if you disturb the mummies from its resting place, then the misfortune or the wrath of those mummies, wrath means gussa, of those mummies will befall on those people. So they were shivering, thinking about what is going to happen next. The next third para which I explained to you, in that actually this digging and taking out of the mummy was done by the Egyptian Supreme Council of Antiquities, and Zahi Hawass was the Secretary General of this body of organization. And after the mummy was taken out, he opened the coffin and he leaned over the body to have a look at the body, which was discovered in 1922 by Howard Carter, a British archaeologist. And he said a lot of damage has been done by Mr. Carter. And then he just looked at it, but when he looked at it, it looked like as if though the contents were those searched, ransacked. But still, they seemed to be complete, nothing missing. And they were the richest royal collection. Now you might be thinking, why gold is there? First gold coffin, now gold items, gold things. Actually, it is basically a ritual and a belief. The belief of resurrection, belief of life after death. And because of that reason, the mummies were buried with all kind of you can say that things which they believed that they might require in their afterlife. But Tut's coffin was not only buried with golden things, means gold items, but also with the regular items also which he might need in his afterlife, like chess boards, board games, and then bronze razor, some undergarments, some cases of food and wine. All these things were there, buried along with the gold things which were there in over his body inside the coffin. This is what we people have done in the previous one. So let's continue with the rest. After months of carefully recording the Parahos funerary treasures, Carter began investigating his 3 nested coffins. Opening the first, he found a shroud adorned with garlands of willow and olive leaves, wild celery, lotus petals, and cornflowers. The faded evidence of a burial in March or April. When he finally reached the mummy, though he ran into trouble, the ritual raisins had hardened, cementing Tut to the bottom of his solid gold coffin. No amount of legitimate force could move them. Carter wrote later what was to be done. Okay, now I'm taking you to 1922. Okay, 1922, when the mummy was first discovered by Howard Carter, a British archaeologist. They have to, this archaeologist and all, when they discover something, they have to prepare a report of it. Okay, so in the report all this thing was done. So he says that for months they have first of all did the recording and the study of the funerary treasures. Funerary treasures means the things which were buried during the time of funeral. Okay, and Carter, he found that the coffin was like a 3-nested coffin. Can you understand that? 3-nested coffin mean 3 layered. 3 layer means one thing inside the other, no? Like the 3 layers are there. The first one is the gold coffin itself. The first thing, full pure gold coffin. Then when he opened it, over the mummy he found a shroud, a cloth, and it was adorned. It was beautifully been decorated with garlands of willow, olive leaves, wild celery, lotus petals, and cornflowers. Now you might be thinking, it might come into your mind, or you might feel like asking, ma'am, how is it possible that they were still there? They were still there in the sense that their traces were there, little things. But the presence of all these things showed that somewhere the burial of this young fellow has taken place in the month of March or April. Okay, the second nest means first one was a gold coffin, second one was this, and then he reached to the mummy when he removed it. Now came the actual trouble. You know why? If you remember, I told you mummies, how they are made. They are covered with bandages and the ritual, one kind of resins, means herbal things, mixture is there, sappy, that is applied for preservation. So So that ritual raisins, they have hardened. I think 3,300 years passed, my dear children. So many years passed. So automatically these things have hardened up. They have turned solid. And because of that reason, Tut's mummy, it got stuck to the base of the bottom of the solid gold coffin. And Carter writes in his report that no amount of force, no amount of legitimate force, he says, means he tried his level best. He tried his level best to have it done, but still he says that no amount, he tried his level best, full force they had applied, but legally, but nothing could be done. They could not move the mummy. The sun can beat down like a hammer this far south in Egypt, and Carter tried to use it to loosen the raisins. For several hours, he set the mummy outside in blazing sunshine that heated it to 149 degrees Fahrenheit. Nothing budged. He reported with scientific detachment that the consolidated material had to be chiseled away from beneath the limbs and trunk before it was possible to raise the king's remain. Okay, sorry for that interruption of blankness, but here further we would like to continue with this fact that when he said that no amount of legitimate force, means legally he tried his level best to remove the mummy from the coffin, but he could not. So even at one moment he thought that it was too sunny, too hot sun over that area of Egypt. So he will take out the coffin and he will open the lid and keep it in the hot sun. It was around some 149 degree Fahrenheit. So definitely the raisins will melt out. But he says that even after keeping it, nothing budged. Means not even a single thing moved. So he wrote in his report that the consolidated, means the solidified, the hardened, जो एकदम जम गया था, that material had to be chiseled away. Chisel, you know what is a chisel? चलिए, छेनी जानते हैं, the people who use the hammer and all to hit and crack the rocks and all, to hit and break the rocks. Yes, that is what is chiseling. Okay, so he said in his report that now the material, the solidified material which is under the limb and the trunk, you know, trunk is what? The back area. Trunk is that of a human body. So that area where the solid material, that raisin is solid now, there we have to chisel, take it out, and then only the mummy could be lifted out. Then only it is possible to raise the king's remain. Then he said further, in his defense, Carter really had little choice. If he hadn't cut the mummy free, thieves most certainly would have circumvented the guards and ripped it apart to remove the gold. In Tut's time, the royals were fabulously wealthy, and they thought or hoped they could take their riches with them. For his journey to the great beyond, King Tut was lavished with glittering goods, precious collars, inlaid necklaces and bracelets, rings, amulets, a ceremonial apron, sandals, sheets for his fingers and toes, and now iconic inner coffin and mask, all of pure gold. To separate Tut from his adornments, Carter's men removed the mummy's head and severed nearly every major joint. Once they had finished, they reassembled the remains on a layer of sand in a wooden box with padding that concealed the damaged bed where Tut now rests. Okay. Now Carter, in his defense, why he did that? He has to defend it, no? So he said that I never had much choice. I had to cut the mummy free. Otherwise, after the discovery, if the thieves come to know that there is such a lot of gold in a coffin, they will definitely try to, you can say that, create some kind of an atmosphere that they will either bribe the guards and they will rip, means they will break the mummy to take out the gold. He says that in Tut's time, maybe the royals, they were very rich and they had a thought or a belief that they can take this richness with them even after their death. Because of that reason, for this long journey beyond, means after death, King Tut was lavishly being adorned with golden items. With golden items means with gold items. I would like to say a few glittering goods. Glittering here means golds, glittering, shining, shimmering, and they were precious collars. My dear students, before I explain this, you just have to imagine in your mind an Egyptian king. You have seen a lot of movies. You might have seen them wearing on big collars round their neck, necklaces, bracelets, means on their the thick big one bracelet over their arms, then wrist, then rings, then amulets. Amulets means the one which they put on round their upper arm, and then a ceremonial apron, like skirt type, yeah, and then sandals, then sheets for his fingers and toes, means for wiping his toes and fingers. He had beautiful sheets over there, and then that iconic inner coffin and mask, all of pure gold, means the inner area is also gold of coffin, and also a kind of an embossing done over the coffin. That was also, means his mask, his face, that was all pure gold. And to separate that from this adornments of his, what Carter's men they did, first they removed mummy's head, means they chiseled, they broke the solid mass which was there in the head place, and they took out the head. Then with the help of the hammer and chisel, every major joint, we are having lots of joints, like elbow is there, knee is there, knuckles are there, wrist is there, so many joints are there. Every major joint they broke the solid mass, and they took it out one part, and then they reassembled the entire body over a layer of sand which was there in a wooden box, and wherever gap has come they had put a padding, like to cover the gap, दो चीज के बीच का गैप को कवर करने के लिए पैडिंग डाल दिया गया उन्हें. And then here the Tut was resting when he was taken out in 2005. Further, archaeology has changed substantially in the intervening decades, focusing less on treasure and more on fascinating details of life and intriguing mysteries of death. It also uses more sophisticated tools, including medical technology. In 1968, more than 40 years after Carter's discovery, an anatomy professor x-rayed the mummy and revealed a startling fact. Beneath the raisins that cakes his chest, his breastbone and front ribs are missing. Now, what archaeology? You know about the archaeology department, that particular branch of science which deals with studying the things that are discovered, the treasures that are discovered, and then to find out what are the basic facts or the mysteries related to them. And in the past and the present, a lot of changes had come in that intervening decades. Means in the passing decades, a lot of changes have happened. Earlier, what archaeology was related only to the treasure hunt, but nowadays it is not like that. It is also related to the basic fact, that is to find out what are the mysteries lying behind it. And then for doing this, they use various kind of tools which have become sophisticated with the passage of time, with the involvement of medical science and medical technology. Now the question is that in 1922 he discovered, means Howard Carter discovered Tom of Tut, and then in 1968, means around some 46 years after that, more than 46, around some 46 years after the discovery by Carter, an anatomy professor, he did an x-ray of Tut's mummy, and he made you can say that he made a statement. And in his statement he said that raisin, I told you what raisins are, the raisin which covers the cakes means which covers which creates a layer over the chest, under that the breastbone and front ribs are missing. Okay, it's a very big thing because Tut's mummy is the government's treasure, government's property, and its breastbone and front ribs are missing means before him who had seen it, they have done the damage. So before this anatomy professor, who has done it? Obviously, Howard Carter. So Howard Carter is basically responsible for this. That is what the anatomy professor had said about this, his discovery. Today, diagnostic imaging can be done with computed tomography or CT, by which hundreds of X-rays in cross-section are put together like slices of bread to create a three-dimensional virtual body. What more would a CT scan reveal of Tut than the X-ray? And could it answer two of the biggest questions still lingering about him? How did he die, and how old was he at the time of his death? Okay, talking about CT scan, computed tomography. You know, with the passage of time, the medical history, the advancements in technology has given us a lot of things, and out of that is CT scan. Now, in comparison to X-rays, it is much more advanced, much more clearer because it creates cross sections. It's like a big TV screen which is having small areas where the areas are brought together, and then a big three-dimensional virtual figure is created. And so they all hope that CT can clearly tell us more than an X-ray. And the questions that were there in the mind were two. First, how King Tut died. Second, how old he was at the time of his death. So my dear students, I'll be ending up today's video here itself, and in the next video we will be talking about like a small history of that empire which he ruled, his forefathers, and then we people will come across how it was, what is the history. Till then, goodbye and take care.